Hello friends, today I'm going to show you how to solve the 3x3 Mastermorphix shape mod. This is one of the challenging shape mods of Rubik's Cube. I really enjoy solving Mastermorphix and I'll show you how to easily solve by completing it layer by layer. I'll show you how to complete the mod with the knowledge of just 4 easy algorithms which you already may know when solving a Rubik's Cube. There is a challenging piece of solving the edges and corners on the last layer, and I will show you how to do that in an easy and methodical manner when we reach the last layer. So watch out for that. Lastly, it is good to have an understanding of a 3x3 Rubik's Cube and its layers, but I'll show you how to solve the Mastermorphix without you having to compare it with Rubik's Cube. Let's start with some introduction to the Mastermorphix. So Mastermorphix is also called Master Pyramorphix and is a 3x3 shape mod with 4 colors: red, blue, green and yellow. And it has 6 centers which are made up of 2 colors. So you have this center which is red and yellow. You have this center red and green. You have another center blue, green, blue and yellow, yellow and green. So what you will see is that these 6 centers having 3 centers which are having yellow, and it is having basically 2 colors. There are 4 triangle shaped corners. These corners, green one, yellow, red and blue, and there are 3 colored corners. So you can see, so these are the corners. So any of these corners, if you see, you will have 3 colors here. It has trapezium shaped edges. On any one completed side, you will find 3 edges surrounding our center corners. So let's take this green center corner. So this is a corner, and you will find these trapezium shaped edges, 3 of them, which will be of the same shape. Like any 3x3 Rubik's Cube, there are 3 layers to the shape mod. So you will have this, so that you can see that there are 3 layers, similar to a Rubik's Cube. Take a thorough look at the solved shape mod. You can even take a picture before you scramble, as it will help you to align your pieces with correct shape and the colors. So with this introduction, let's go ahead and scramble the mod. We now have sufficiently scrambled mod. I always prefer to start with a non-yellow center pieces like this one, or a blue or a green one, or a red or a blue one. That way I'll be able to have a yellow centerpiece to solve as my last layer. This is nothing special and is just out of practice solving the Rubik's Cube. Let's start with a blue and a green center. This one. Now we need to align all the edges, which are like these green ones and the blue ones, so that they match the color of their center and are also flush with their center, like this one. So there is no algorithm involved here, and it can be done quite intuitively. Sometimes you may not get the edges flush, but I'll show you how to correct that. So let's look at these. So green is flush, so this is good. We need to have a blue one here. I'll go, so yeah, so this is not flush. So what you need to do is to bring this down, change its orientation, bring it back here, and you can complete this. And you need to have this. So we have 2 blue edges which are flush. I need to have a green one. So you have these. So we have these 4 edges which are flush. Once the 4 edges are complete, once these 4 edges are complete, we need to complete the 4 corners, which are the 2 triangle corners and the 2 3 colored corners. First, let's complete the triangles. Use this algorithm R prime, D prime, R, D coming on top of your screens. But instead of remembering this algorithm, you can do it as a down, down, and an up, up of your center. So I'll show you how to do that. So I have my blue corner here. So I do a down, this is down, up, and an up. Though this last up is insignificant, but you know, this goes as a cycle. Similarly, let's finish off the green triangle. Down, down, up, up. For the three colored corners, you need to check which one needs to go on which side and use the same algorithm that we talked about just now. So if you look at here, the green and blues, you need to figure out where that green and blue corner is, like here. So you have one green and a blue corner. Let's see if this works. Down, down, up, up. So this is the correct corner here because the blue matches blue, green matches green, and yellow is here. You will see another green and blue corner here, which is here. And what you can do is down, down, up, up, didn't match, down, down, up, up, down, down, up, up, and there you go. So the first layer is complete. There are two parts to completing the middle layer: placing the middle layer centers correctly and orienting them, and completing the edge pieces on the middle layer. So first, place the centers in their right positions, but they could be oriented wrongly. Let's see. Okay, so what you can do is just see if this is green and yellow. You need to have a center which is green and yellow, which is here. Just position it like this. And once you correct one center, all the other centers will automatically sit in its right place. Now, unlike the Rubik's Cube, middle layer centers, if oriented wrongly, are visible prominently, and you can see it here. So this is oriented wrongly. And that is primarily because it is made up of two colors and it is shaped differently. In order to correct the orientation of the centers, you need to first rotate the right side, this side, twice anti-clockwise, and then rotate the bottom anti-clockwise twice. So what this will do is this will move the edges and corners out of the way of this center. Then rotate the center in a way that when you bring back the corresponding edge, it should be flush. So this should be flush. Let's do that. Right, anti-clockwise twice, and down anti-clockwise twice. Now since this is out of the way, let's rotate the center like this. Let's see. Now you try to bring back by moving the downside clockwise. This one, you see this is still not flush, so just move it out of the way and we just move it 90 degree, and now it is flush. So what you can do is, now once this is flush, you can move back this by doing the same algorithm. Just move the right side clockwise twice, and there you have. So this is all complete now. Okay, now since we have this one center corrected, let's correct the other centers. It turns out in my case that all the four centers are not oriented correctly. So let's do that same way like what we did for the first center. I have this center with anti-clockwise. Let me see if this is flush. This is flush. Let me bring it back. The center is complete. Let me see this center. Anti-clockwise. Down, anti-clockwise. Move the center 90 degree. There you have. Just move it back. We have our third center. That's correct. Our final center. Move it out of the way. Let's rotate it 90. And there we have, this is flush. Just bring it back. So now you can see that all the centers are flush and they are oriented correctly. Now next, solve the edges now. To solve the edges, find the edge which needs to fit into the right place. So in this situation, I have a blue here and this blue edge needs to come here. Let's put it like this. Now this blue edge needs to move to the left. So you need to use this algorithm which is coming on top of your screens. U prime, L prime, U, L, U, F, U and front prime. So your up is this, front is this, right, and left is this. Okay, let's do this. So U prime, L prime, U, L, U, F, U prime, F prime. So there you have your blue edge sitting here. Let's see what is the other edge that is pending. So this is done. So we need to have a green one here. Now you see the green again, it needs to move to the left. So use the same algorithm. U prime, L prime, U, L, U, F, U prime, F prime. So there you have, so you have all these edges. Now in my situation, what has happened, the two edges that I had to move, they had to be moved to the left hand side. But you may get a situation where you will have to move your edge towards the right side. So in that situation, you can use this algorithm coming on top of your screens. U, R, U prime, R prime, U prime, F prime, U, F. So that way you can complete all the edges. Sometimes you may get your edge in the correct place, but will be oriented wrongly. So in such a situation, you can use any of the algorithms we just talked about to move that edge out and then do the algorithm again to place the edge back with the correct orientation. So now let's go to solving the last layer. Solving the edges on the last layer can be challenging and tricky, and many times we can end up doing a lot of trial and error. So before we move on to solve this final layer, I would like to explain the rotation of the edge pieces, these edge pieces, using two algorithms and the effect of using them on the rotation and the orientation of the edge pieces. So when I say orientation, what would generally happen is the longer side will go to the other side and the shorter side of this trapezium edge will come to the other side, so it will be oriented incorrectly. These two algorithms will have to be used depending on the situation. You have to solve the equivalent of a star on the last layer. That way you will be in better control while solving the last layer edges. Let me show you how it works on the solved. So here I have a solved shape mod, and we are going to understand the two algorithms that we need to use to solve the edges on the last layer. Our first algorithm is F R U R prime U prime F prime, and that is coming on top of your screens. I'm going to apply this algorithm on this last layer, and watch closely that the yellow edge, this edge, remains locked on the right hand side, and the three edges will move anti-clockwise once. These three edges, this one, this one, this one, once, but the orientation of these two edges are going to change, meaning that the short side will come on this side and the long side will go this side. So that will apply to these two edges when it rotates anti-clockwise, whereas this edge will remain same. So when it moves anti-clockwise like this, it will be like this. Remember, the corners will also move, these corners, but don't worry about the corners getting permuted and disoriented now, as we will have a separate algorithm to solve the corners. So this is going to be your front, the front center, and this is going to be the right center, and this is going to be the top center, the upper center. So let's apply the algorithm. F R U R prime U prime F prime. So as you can see, the yellow edge remains locked here, and the three edges moved anti-clockwise, and these two edges which were here also changed their orientation. So you can see it here, this was flush here, but now it's not. And likewise, this red which was here, it was flush here, and when it moved here, it is no longer flush like this. And whereas the one which was already here, that moved here, and that is flush. So let's try to apply this algorithm 3 times. So we have done it already once, so let's do it 2 times, then all these edges will come back to the same position. F R U R prime U prime F prime. So again it rotated these three edges, remain keeping this yellow same. F R U R prime U prime F prime. So now you can see that you got all your edges back with their correct orientation. So if you do it 3 times, so now if you understand, these three edges will move and these two edges will change their orientation, whereas this edge will just rotate, not change the orientation. Just remember that even if the corners they change, don't worry about them. We have a separate algorithm, as I said before, to correct these corners. Our next algorithm is R U R prime U R U2 R prime, coming on top of your screens. I'm going to apply this algorithm on this. Remember that your right center is now this one, which was earlier the front center in the previous algorithm. This is going to be your right center, and this is going to be the up center. We don't have to worry about the front because this algorithm doesn't use the front center. So let's apply this algorithm. R U R prime U R U2 R prime. So as you can see, these edges rotated again. This edge which was here has moved here, and this edge which was here has moved here, and this one was here and moved here. So in this particular algorithm, you will see that these edges moved anti-clockwise, but the orientation of these two edges did not change, neither did this edge. So this is very important, because once you have the correct edges, And if you just have to rotate, then use this algorithm. So let me do this 2 more times so that everyone will come back again. R, U, R prime, U, R, U2, R prime, right? R, U, R prime, U, R, U2, R prime. So we've got all our edges back. So now let's go back and solve our last layer. Now, armed with the knowledge of how our two algorithms work, let's solve our 4 edges. Before you do that, you have to orient your center correctly if they are not. So this center needs to be oriented correctly so that they match the color of their middle layer sides. So what I mean by that is, right now this center is in this position. We need to move it like this so that the red side matches with the red layer and the yellow one matches with the yellow middle layer. Now, depending on the situation, you need to align the edges to form the star. You can plan at least the next 2 steps for these edges, as now you understand what these 2 algorithms can do. So first thing that you need to do now is to bring a yellow edge which is flush with the center on the right side of your corner. So just turn around and just see this yellow. We need to bring one of these yellow edges on this side, and it should be flush with both the center and the middle layer. So if I just turn it around to show it, it should be like this. Okay, for this you will have to do the same algorithms that we talked about just now from the red side, like this red side. So now we know that this red side will remain locked and your edges can move anti-clockwise, and do this algorithm R, U, R prime, U, R, U2, R prime. As you can see now, this yellow edge on the right hand side is flush. So this was the situation that I had, and I was lucky that the star got completed. You have these 2 yellow edges and 2 red edges exactly in flush with just that one algorithm we did. But there could be various other situations that you could be in, and you can watch my other short videos with different edges combination on the last layer and how to solve them. So check out these links to these videos in the details section. Once the edges are complete and flush, we can now solve the corners. For permuting the corners, we will use an algorithm which is coming on top of your screens. Remember that with this algorithm, your left corner, this left corner will remain at the same place, and rest of the 3 corners, this one and this one, will move clockwise. So the algorithm is R prime, F, R prime, back 2 times, R, F prime, R prime, back 2 times, R 2 times. So let's do this. In this situation, we have yellow here on the left hand side, so we don't want to change it, and we want to keep it locked and use our algorithm. Sometimes you may have some other corners correct, and then in that situation you just have to bring it like this. Just keep that particular corner on the left hand side and then apply the same algorithm, and that will move the other corners clockwise. Let's do this here. So R prime, F, R prime, back 2 times, R, F prime, R prime, back 2 times, R 2 times. Now what has happened is the red triangle corner which was here, it has moved here, and that this corner which was here has moved here. Now we need to do this algorithm once more, so that now red will come here and this corner will move here and this corner will move here, and we should be all good. Let's do that again. R prime, F, R prime, back 2 times, R, F prime, R prime, back 2 times, R 2 times. So now you see this corner is in its right place, this corner is in its right place, and this corner is in right place. So we have brought all the corner pieces to their correct locations, but some of it may be oriented wrongly. You can see it here. This one is oriented wrongly and this one is oriented wrongly. So as we did with our corners orientation on the first layer, we'll do the same thing, use the same algorithm, R prime, D prime, R, D, R prime, D prime, R, D, so you can use the same trick that I was telling, down, down, up, 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 and your corner will get corrected. Now using the same place, don't change the position. We need to correct the other corner. Just turn it around, to correct this corner. So do the same thing, down, down, up, up, down, down, up, up, and now this corner is completed. Just turn it back so that the red color faces matches the red and yellow matches the red. Sometimes the corners will orient correctly but mess up your other pieces. So when we used that algorithm, the R prime, D prime, R, D, it will mess up these edges and corners at the bottom. So you don't have to worry about them. Just rotate any one triangle corner. Let me show you that. So we had this. You can have any one triangle corner here to solve these other pieces. Since the triangles will remain same, whichever way you orient it, you will be able to solve the other pieces. So I was fortunate that all these pieces also got oriented correctly while I was solving the corners, but sometimes that may not happen. So what you can do is to keep turning around. So I'm just showing you an example here. So just turn your corner here, down, down, up, up, down, down, up, up. So you can see this triangle is still the same, though it has oriented one rotation, but these edges and corners have got changed. So just do that same algorithm again, down, down, up, up, down, down, up, up. These are still wrong. Down, down, up, up, down, down, up, up. They're back to their original positions. Just turn it back, and your Mastermorphix is all solved. Hope you enjoyed my video, and let me know in the comments in case you come across a situation and need my help. Also, take a look at the other short videos of various combinations of last layer edges, and I'm sure one of them will match your situation and you should be able to solve it. This video was brought to you by my channel Ready to Think, and in my next video I'm going to show you how to solve another shape mod called axial cube or the axis cube. So watch out for that, and until then, bye.